Hey Michael, it's Keaton Everett with ABC going over your pitching video from camp. We're going to go through and talk a little bit about mechanics and talk a little bit about things you can do to kind of help yourself generate more velocity. We want to make sure that we're consistently repeating our delivery. We're consistently using our lower half to generate all the power and torque and velocity. And then we're going to look at foot strike. So once that left leg comes up off the ground, once that left leg touches the ground, what do you look like there? Are your hands at a nice, healthy angles? Does it look like you're going to be in a spot that will get you in a nice, powerful position? And then we're going to look at how you're finishing. So we're looking at your release point. Are you getting down over that front foot? Are you using your legs? And so we'll kind of go through and touch on a couple of those key points. So the first part we look at is your initial setup. How you start, how you start your delivery dictates a lot of, how you're going to finish it. All right. So one of the things that you're doing well right off the bat is from the windup. A lot of times you see kids with big movements. You'll see their head, shift out, way to the right or really far back. So you're doing good at staying over that foot. You got your eyes on the catcher the whole time. So you're doing well at limiting your movements, staying over that foot. Okay, now one of the things that you can work on, basically we need to get our hips in the right position. We need to get our hips closed, and we need to get our hips leading our body down the mound to generate the most power. That's the biggest thing is hips. All right, so we need to get them in the position to get them down the hill, to get them to lead down the hill, and we just need to get them in that starting position to maximize everything. All right. So as you can see, as you're coming up, you can see this foot kind of pointing towards the catcher still. All right, and you're just kind of lifting up this knee, and your knee really never gets back over this back foot. All right, your foot is, okay, you can see your foot past that back foot, but we want to try to get away from rotating your hip to form this kind of angle here. We want to try to get your knee back over here and have that foot just kind of dangling down. All right, we don't ever want to flex or rotate anything. We're going to just want to see this angle right here. So all you want to do is just think about it is instead of letting this foot lead, just let this knee come back and try to get back over that back foot. All right, and what that's just going to do is that's going to create this angle here with your hips, and those are closed off. All right, right here, they're still open. They're straight across, they're still open. All right, we want something where your knee's getting far enough back, but you're not doing it too much where these shoulders are starting to turn. All right, so that's just something that'll help you get in a more powerful position. All right, another thing too is the more we can limit hand movements, the easier it is to time. Because basically, to time your delivery, you can see your hands move back kind of as your leg goes up. We just want them just hanging out right here and not moving. Because the more movement there is, the harder it is to time. Because we want the hands to break, the hips to go forward, and the leg to drop all at the same time. All right. So you're seeing, and that's the biggest key with time and repeatability of mechanics. So at this point, here's the height of your leg. So what we're going to want to see is hips go forward. We're going to want to see that knee start to drop. We're going to want to start seeing that ball come out of that glove. All right. So we're going to mark your hips, all right, your leg, and your hands. All right, you can see your hips aren't really getting down the hill too quickly. All right, you can see your glove, or your ball coming out of your glove right here. All right, but the biggest thing that's leading for you is your knee. All right, then that's probably the last thing in that checklist. All right, we want everything to happen at the same time, but we really want to make sure that these are leading first. These hands go, then that foot kind of comes down. So we want it to almost be all within half a second of each other, but we just want to see more drive, your hips this way, meaning just getting your hips down the hill and then breaking those hands. And it's going to be easier to break your hands when you're keeping them down around your waist. All right. So all that's doing is that's causing this glove to lag far behind your body. All right. And we want this glove to kind of try to match up with this front foot. So we kind of want that glove to follow that front foot. So when you're coming back here with your glove, it's going to be behind that foot, and it's going to cause your body to kind of get late with everything. All right, you still do a good job of getting it out, but you can see it because you kind of have to play catch up. That glove's going too fast, and you're going to see it curl around early here. All right, at foot strike. So we're going to want to see at foot strike. Foot strike right about here. We're going to still want to see that glove out here a little bit. All right, so it's just a little bit late, and to kind of, because it's late and you have to speed it up, it just kind of rolls out, and you lose that front side a little bit. All right, so that's just another reason why we just want to keep hands in there. It's just a little easier to follow that foot out there. All right, so in this position, you can start to see your foot leading your hips. All right, so you can see that your hips were, we draw a line from your hips here. You can start to see that foot's leading. All right, we want to try to see your body from here. We probably want to try to see your body down about right here at the same leg position. All right, and that's just because you're not getting your hips going quick enough. All right, so we want to see that body driving down the hill. Now maybe your legs, your foot's almost out in front. Now it's starting to kick out. So all that's doing is just keeping your hips closed longer, storing up more energy, so you can drive through those hips. All right. So now we go look at foot strikes. So right when that front foot hits the ground, what does it look like? Okay. So it looks like there's our foot strike right there. All right. Another thing with your hips. The more we're going to be driving down the hill with our hips, the more we're going to keep them closed, you're going to start seeing this back foot start to pop open and this knee start to turn down to the ground. All right, you see it happening here, but what you notice is that it all happens at the same time. Your shoulders and your hips turn at the same time. All right, you can see them rotate exactly at the same time. We want to try to get our hips in this position, so that right hip starts forward, and then that upper body, for you, you're a little bit back here. So then for that upper body, you're back in this position, and those shoulders haven't even rotated yet. All right, so that's that hip-shoulder separation. That's torque. And that's the ability to get that right hip turning towards the catcher before that upper body starts to rotate. And that's a big strength thing. And that'll be easier as you get a little bit older. But it's just something to kind of work on. We want to start turning that knee down in the dirt, popping that heel off the ground, and just getting that hip going towards the catcher before those shoulders start to turn, instead of at the same time. You can just see that you don't have the torque right there. All right. So one more thing we look at foot strike is where's our elbows in relation to our shoulder, what our angles look like. All right, so right here you got a straight line with your shoulder, that's fine. All right, you got a good angle. A lot of times we'll see kids with arms here, or you'll see the elbow way up above, so that's good. One thing that you should work on is you can see how your fingers are pointed towards first base. We want to try to get those fingers behind the ball or on top of the ball, and all that means is you just want to have those fingers kind of facing your ear, and so that just creates torque in your wrist. That stores up energy in your wrist to get you going and get a little bit more torque on everything. All right, and then the more you're staying through that back leg, you're going to start seeing this head finishing farther out over that front foot. We want to try to get you down over here, releasing the ball, and that'll get you a few extra inches of release. All right, so just stay through those legs more, using more hips, and then you're going to see this head and chest get out a little bit farther over that front foot. So anyways, hope you're having a great season this year. Thanks for making it out to camp, and we look forward to seeing you again with ABC.